Hi, I'm Ashley from the Environmental Education team here at Central Coast Council, and today I'm joined by a very special guest. This is Fluffy the chicken. Now, there's been this incredible green movement recently on the Central Coast where people are really embracing the opportunity to get out into nature, to really experience their backyards and become a little bit more self-sufficient, and that has included more people keeping backyard chickens. Now, chickens are a great opportunity for us to create a closed loop system. Instead of putting all of our food scraps into landfill, we can instead divert them into our chickens. Now, the problem with putting all of our organic food waste into our red bins and sending them off to landfill is that all of that organic matter, once it becomes covered in dirt and there's no air that can get to it, it actually starts to produce greenhouse gases such as methane, and that can contribute to climate change. So if we can keep all of that organic, unavoidable food waste out of the landfill, and instead our chickens will very happily eat most of our fruit and vegetable scraps, they will in turn give us beautiful fertiliser through their manure and also a great supply of fresh, yummy eggs. And that also helps us reduce our dependence on the industrialized food system. Today, we're going to talk about some of the ways that you can make sure that you keep your chickens happy and healthy. One of the first things to remember is that chickens are flock animals, so they like to be in the company of other chickens. So it's important that at a minimum, we keep at least 2 to 3 chickens together. They don't like being kept by themselves. Now, when you're trying to figure out how many chickens you should get, you have to keep in mind that they need at least 1 square metre of space per chicken. Yes, they need social distancing. And 1 chicken will lay about 6 eggs per week. So think about how much space you have and how many eggs your family will consume in a week when figuring out how many chickens you should get. Did you know that eggs can be up to 80% water? So providing a really clean, fresh supply of drinking water for our chickens is really important, both for their health and also for their egg production. Now, chickens can be pretty good at getting things dirty, so it's really important that we keep their water nice and clean and provide it in a specially designed chicken water dispensing unit. And make sure that you clean that out every couple of days because no one likes to drink dirty water, including our chickens. Providing really adequate nutrition is really important for our chickens to help make sure they have the vitamins and minerals and nutrients that they need to stay healthy. It is important that for the majority of their diet, you do provide them with a commercially made chicken food that does contain all of those essential vitamins and minerals that they need. And they come in a variety of different formats. You can get things like mueslis, pellets, you can get mashes, crumbles, and you can even get scratch mixes like this one that she's absolutely loving here. It's also really important to make sure that you provide grit. Freely available shell grit. It actually helps mechanically break down the food that they eat. So they should always have a little tray of this nice fine shell grit, and they can access that as and when they need it. If you would like to give them a special treat, they adore worms. They are really high in protein, so they love them, but make sure you feed them in moderation because they're also quite high in fat. And of course, one of the main reasons that we have our chickens is to divert some of those unavoidable food waste items away from landfill. So if you have some fruit and vegetable scraps from your kitchen, of course, we love to be able to feed these to our chickens. A couple of things to avoid, things like onion, garlic, citrus, avocado, chocolate, of course. They're not very good for chickens. Raw potato isn't very good either. If you're unsure, just make sure you do a little bit of research before you feed them to your chickens, but they will love taking those away from landfill for us. And if by any chance you do notice that the eggshells start to get a little bit thin, it might be because of a calcium deficiency. So some chickens need a calcium supplement added to their food just so they can make really nice, thick, healthy eggshells for us. Providing a really safe shelter is also a really important consideration when deciding to keep backyard chickens. There are council guidelines about how big you can have your coop and how far away it needs to be from buildings, and it's also important to refer to state planning policy as well. Some of the most important things to keep in mind are protection from predators. We do have a lot of foxes on the Central Coast that like to prey on our chickens. We also have feral cats. If you do have cats, make sure you keep them locked inside, especially at night time. And if you have pets like dogs or domestic cats, you will need to provide somewhere for your chickens to be protected from them, and a really good chicken mesh should do the trick. It's also really important to provide a secure indoor space that protects them from the elements. They don't like to get too hot or too cold, so make sure there's a really secure, protected, sheltered area, especially for them to sleep at night. They don't have very good eyesight, so they will sleep inside at night, and they like to roost on perches that are nice and high up off the ground. When it's daylight, however, they will love going outside. They need somewhere to run and exercise and socialise. They need dust on the ground that they can bathe in, and they need areas where they can peck into the ground to get things like worms. When it comes time to laying eggs, they will need a nice cosy nest box that has a soft bedding like a straw or sawdust that provides them with a really comfortable, secure environment for them to go and lay their eggs. It's also important that we keep on top of their health, so regular deworming and powders to make sure that they don't get any mites in their feathers can be really helpful things to keep on hand as well. Keeping backyard chickens can be incredibly rewarding. It's great to reconnect with nature, and we can help divert some of that organic matter away from landfill and have a beautiful supply of fresh, yummy eggs at the same time. So on behalf of Fluffy and I, thank you for tuning into our Green Living Workshop series. Bye for now.